Why are we here?
The other night, we had an argument. We went out, and long story short, we just had a big falling out, and it spiraled out of control.
You want to elaborate?
Yeah. At the retreat, I shared with Phil that, I'm choosing him and that, I want to really pursue this connection. And his response was, aw, hugged me and gave me a peck on the lips, gave me a kiss on the lips. And I was really happy. I was like, oh, wow, that's affection.
So you got the response you wanted.
The
you
physical
wasn't expecting
response.
it, but yeah.
Right, I wasn't expecting that, but that physical response. But then on the ride home, I was processing and I was like, I don't think he really even answered my question or communicated back to me how he was feeling. So I asked him at the bar, I said, hey, how do you feel about this? And his response to me is like, just relax, just trust me. It's a process, we're still going through the process. Like, I got you. So I was like, okay.
So I got you doesn't really give you clarity. That's, okay.
No, it doesn't give me clarity. We had a conversation in the club, at the space, near the end of the night when people are like leaving. Tones of voice raised. That's when the conversation escalated. And I'm like, I just want to answer. A direct answer could have just eliminated this entire situation. It didn't have to turn into all of this. Let's take that back. I did technically get an answer to the question when the defensive behavior started taking place. So I guess there's my answer.
Let me ask y'all something. Y'all was out. Had y'all been drinking?
Yes, we drank before.
You too?
One shot.
Okay, guys.
So Tommy, in that moment where we were continuing to argue, I walked away.
Where are you going?
To get space, to literally just breathe anywhere away from him at that moment. Don't touch me.
Okay.
When you take it to the extent where you picking me up and you're not allowing me to leave, that was, don't touch me. Phil was picking me up to try to get me back to the car. I'm like, yo, I'm not incapable of walking back to the car. He didn't have to take it there. There was an experience that I had before and it triggered me. In my teenage years, there was a lot of verbal and emotional abuse that I went through. I'm processing all of that. So the fact that this man tried to physically take control of the situation, it's a lot.
You picked her up. When she doesn't want to be touched, then she wants her space.
She's walking away. It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Is it that late?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all should have had y'all ass at home.
Yeah.
Y'all really should have had y'all butts at home.
I wish I didn't go out. She's walking away. This turned into some weird alley. At this point, I want to make sure that she's good. I took her back towards the direction of the car. This is crazy. I mean, we're on the streets of D.C., and there are parts of D.C. that aren't safe. We shouldn't even be out here because it's raining, it's dark, it's late. Clearly, we're not on the same page. Anything could happen.
I'm trying to picture myself in this.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in his position. So now I'm here as a man. What I'm worried about, more than anything, is you're walking away, and I want to know where you're going, because I got to make sure you're all right. Let me put myself in your shoes. I'm walking away. You have pissed me off. Give me a little bit of space. Let me have that. We got to know where the boundaries are. This is bad. We should have tried to have this conversation at that bar. We should not have tried to have that conversation. It was the wrong place. It was the wrong energy. It just wasn't right. So, where do we go? Look at her, Phil. Look at him. Please do that for me. Because we ain't made eye contact since we sat down. Do you still like this lady? Do you still like this man? That's what it all boils down to. Do we let this bump us off and we just go our separate ways? Or do we learn from it and say, hey, let's talk. Let's figure out if we got something. That's what the journey is supposed to be about. Do we have something? I wouldn't walk away this quickly. I think there's still feelings here. Both of you got a lot of thinking to do. Is it something you can get past? Is it something that you can't get past? I hope you guys will try to talk it out, and let's see what happens when you have that heart-to-heart conversation. But it needs to be had.
Well, y'all got a real distant with me. I'm here now.
I know.
My issue with Walter is Walter does not always communicate. I just don't feel like I can get him to open up.
So, okay, so you still have connections or what have you.
Right.
Right? I don't know what goes on when I'm not around. Of course, I hear things, but I don't let it get to me, right? Because I feel like whatever we talk about, we talk about. Whatever we got, we got.
Right.
And I need you to give me the same deference, right? Don't be petty. Don't be catty.
What are you talking about?
Even at the piano, girl, you was giving eyes, yo.
No, because your vibe has been off like all day. And, like, I'm constantly trying to figure out like what's going on with you. We're good, we have a great conversation, then the next time I see you, like your whole energy is just like off. And you and I had just had a whole moment in that piano room. Cool came in there. When I came over closer to you, it was like you wouldn't even open up to me. When he's around Sabrina, Walter's like another person. I'm just starting to feel like I'm not the one who Walter wants to open up to, but I don't know how much more I have in the area of trying to figure out what's going on with Walter. There's no reason why you and I should have all these dope conversations and feel like we connect, and then the next time I see you, it's like literally all over you. I really think somebody is manipulating you and trying to poison your vision towards me. That's 100, and I felt it for a while. And I don't know how they got that place with you, where you trust them that much, but it's there, and I can feel it.
Listen, Mimi, don't feel that. I'm telling you that's not the case. I gotta figure certain things out in order to make sure that if we do move forward, it's right. Because it's gotta be, right?
Walter, you don't trust me. I don't know where that came from, but somebody got you good.
I'm like, I am here with you right now, trying to fix what we have. And she's telling me that I'm disconnected. I'm like, I'm trying to connect with you right now. I'm present, I'm in the moment. Girl, don't be giving that sad puppy dog shit.
No, it's not sad. It's becoming complicated, and it doesn't have to be complicated.
Oh, babe.
You have a lot of catching up to do. I'm going to the kitchen now. Bye.
Instead of trying to work things out with me, she walked away. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Baby, you okay, bro?
I'm not.
What's good, babe?
Y'all know well this is not true. I got 4 or 5 numbers in my phone, so I honestly don't believe it.
I am pissed off at this point. I've made genuine connections. Why y'all flexing and lying on me? Why y'all acting like that? And so, yeah, I am not the one for that.
I'm ready to go to home.
Where's the house and all that other?
You would have rolled with me.
I would have rolled with you?
Yeah.
Yes. No, boo-boo, because you showed your whole true colors this weekend, period.
What up, what up? This is Mike, the philosopher, accompanied by Rochelle.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, and this is episode, I believe, 12 of Ready to Love.
Episode 11.
11?
That's
Okay.
episode 11.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. And,
Yes.
you know, we hope you brung in the New Year jolly and Festivus. And you know, some people don't do, you know, New Year's resolutions. Some people,
Right.
some people do, some people don't, you know, just, you know, whatever you got planned for yourself, let's hope that it's a prosperous year for you.
Prosperous 2020.
Exactly. 2022.
Still be here.
Right.
2022. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The years are rolling by. And, you know, before we get started, I want Rochelle to speak on something that she's involved with. And I want you guys to pay close attention because this woman is an inspiration to me also. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
So everybody, I am delighted to share with you and everyone that I finally finished publishing my book. It is called,
Yay!
It is called Uncovering Your Truth. And it is a fitness journey about transforming your mind and your body. And I want to kind of show you this before and after picture of me. I'm not sure if you can see it. In 2015 of January, and this was me in November.
And that's just 1 year?
Oh yeah, that was the same.
You made that transformation 1 year.
Yes. And what the book is about, it really talks about, you know, how you have to have that mental transformation before you can have the physical transformation. So I'm excited to share and let people know that it is ready for purchase. You can purchase it on my website, and the website is the title of the book, uncoveringyyourtruth.com. Or you can purchase it on Amazon. And it's ready. It is a really good book. I know when I was reading over it, this is the copy that the publisher sent me to read over. I'm reading the book like, I really like this book. Like, I know I wrote it, but I really do like the book. And if you're wanting to connect with me, you can also reach out to me through Uncovering Your Truth Fitness at gmail.com. That is my email. I am encouraging women to, you know, get together in small groups and use this as your book study to kind of go through as you're launching yourself into your 2022 health and fitness journey.
For those who have a resolution of losing weight or getting your mind and body in sync, this is a good book to start with. So you might want to go check that out at that website and pick that up.
Yes. And I definitely have a heart and passion for my ladies over 40, because I had my transformation after turning 40. So it is never too late.
Never too late, ladies. No, never too late. And men, I would say men too.
And men, absolutely.
Yes, you can get involved too. You know, I'm getting my copy here very soon. So
thank you.
Exactly. Support, recycle the black dollar. Anyway. So I'm excited for you about that. So let's get into RTL and see what is going on this week. This week was very, we did see some of the previews of what was going to happen, but to see it all unfold, it was some funny things. It was kind of some disturbing things that I seen.
Yes, very unexpected.
Very unexpected, and we're going to get into that. So I'm gonna let you go first and rank them in and let me know what you thought about this episode.
Okay, so in this is episode 11, and in this episode, the ladies took the men to meet their families.
Right.
So they're meeting the moms, they're meeting sisters and brothers, dads, and things like that. And so I will start with Walter. Of course, Sabrina invited Walter to meet her cousin. And they had a whole little Zoom, little kind of interview and meet and greet. I thought Walter, Walter.
I already know what you're going to say, yeah.
Walter, he just does well in these types of situations.
He does.
Talking and presenting himself and really understanding the question that somebody's asking him and giving a very insightful, thoughtful answer.
Right.
What I didn't know about Walter was that he normally dates younger women. You heard when they asked that question, she was like, you normally date younger women, so how are you feeling about dating someone that's your age?
Right.
And I loved his answer. And he basically said that he's a widower, and that if his wife had lived, she would be about Sabrina's age.
Right.
So he would be, looking at a woman that age and beautiful. So I thought, of course, Walter did well. I loved his answers. And they don't even come off as disingenuine. He comes off as he's very genuine. He's just, I don't even want to say he's quick on his feet, because that kind of cheapens it. Right. But he just gives very thoughtful answers. Even when he's just speaking straight from the heart.
Yeah, he can walk into any job interview and nail it and get the job.
Period. Yes, he has the job.
He just has that about him. He's very good with the communication. So
yes. Yes, he is very good with the communication. So I have Walter at a 9. I think last week I had him at an 8.5. But again, he's been consistent. And I loved his answers when he was talking with Sabrina's cousin. So Walter is still, sailing high for me. So next I want to go to is Dante. And with Dante, he is officially teaming up or matching up with Aisha.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
For a while you were saying that he was, she was like,
a default,
D-League, third string, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And does he seem more genuine with it now?
No, I still think.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
So I mean, if he's at this point, there are no other options. So he has to pour everything into, him and Aisha. So if Aisha.
Can I ask, why do you get that feeling though? What is it that's tipping you off to it not being genuine?
Well, you know what? Number one, maybe I just haven't seen enough of them and their interactions, right? So it just seems, number one, it just seems so out of the blue. And with the way things flowed, with like how things kind of got bad between him and Zadia and whatever he was trying to kind of connect with Sydney at one point, that didn't work out. And so now you're saying, he even said this when they asked the question, which I thought was a good question. I think her mom, he and Aisha invited him to meet her mom and her brother. And the mom said, some people are just a season, some people are a reason, and some people are a lifetime.
Right.
And she said, what do you see Aisha? And he said, I see her as a lifetime.
What? Look, ain't no guy gonna say, oh, I see her for a season. You know what I mean? To mama.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, what I would respect is just absolute honesty. Even if you said, right now, I don't know what category she's in. I'm very interested in her. She has a lot of good qualities and this, that, and the other, but we're still figuring that out.
But how do you know it's not for a lifetime?
And this is why I say I can only base it on what I've seen, right? So what I've seen in his behavior and how he's been moving, I think that he's now just in a spot where there's no one else. And so now I'm going to pour everything into her. And it's coming off to me as being disingenuous.
Let me ask you a weird question.
Okay.
Do you think that Dante is too good for Aisha?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that. I would say she doesn't seem like his type. Like she doesn't seem like the girl that he would pick to take home to mom, to marry, to be wife material. I would say like she would be the girl he would hook up with every now and then.
Describe the woman that he would pick.
I think he would pick if Zadia didn't lose her scruples, I think he would pick a Zadia.
She was cuckoo from day one, so I don't know.
So if she was a person who kind of carried herself differently and had different mentality, I think I could see him with a Zadia. And I could even see him with possibly a Sydney.
Yeah.
But I think he might. Sydney. I still am just seeing the fun party girl in Sydney. And I just haven't seen a lot of depth. I will say I did see some because I really liked how she handled the situation with Phil and Shiloh. We'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, I would say of all of the women there, I would see Dante with Zadia, definitely. But yeah, but Aisha, I see her as just like the girl, like I said, he would just hook up with every now and then. I think that he admires a lot of things about Aisha. I think he finds her attractive, but I don't think that she's it for him.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What kind of man do you see for Aisha?
Of the guys there,
or just any type, what is her type?
Or just in general. So I think Aisha definitely wants like a guy who is a family man.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who, you know, is very mature and kind of just focused on his wife and his family, his children, things like that. Not a guy who is still trying to be out here bouncing around from this one to that one. Someone who's just kind of very mature and settled and really is just kind of looking for, you know.
That guy don't exist on this episode?
I'm trying to think. Okay. You know who I was getting ready to say?
Who was that?
It was Tyrone. But
Tyrone.
I think Tyrone is that guy, but Tyrone wouldn't be the guy for Aisha. Just with their personalities, I wouldn't see them connecting like that.
Okay.
And other than that,
I was just curious because, you know, it's just you seem pretty sold on him not being sincere with her, and I was just curious as to where that was coming from. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to get your perspective on it. That's all.
Yeah. You know who I would say would be a good fit that was on the show? Sean. I just looked back. Remember Sean?
Oh, yeah. Chocolate Drop.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate Drop.
Yeah,
Sean and Aisha. Those two I could see. I could see together.
Yeah, I possibly could. Especially since she says she could have kids. She just been having a hard time with that. You know, and I think she owns her own salon, right?
I think so.
She's sort of like why she remind me of Shanae? I don't anyway. But yeah, I could kind of see that with them, her and Sean. I just don't. Sean is just not ready to love, though. That's just the thing with me. I mean, the guy is very indecisive in a lot of his ways, and he needs to bring a little bit more, just more to the table as far as intention and, you know, contributing to, you know, the household or whatever the case may be. But I still could kind of see it working with them. I just think that they both have more of a passive personality. Like, who's going to take the lead? You see what I'm saying? I don't really think he's going to really take good leadership, and I don't really think that. I mean, she would probably end up taking it by default, and I don't think she would. And I don't think she'll be comfortable in that spot. You see what I'm saying? So she's going to resent him for being in that position.
Right. You know, but I guess my thing is, I think sometimes in a relationship, you don't have to already be there. And, excuse me, you can grow together, right? In those areas where you might be weak or kind of need. So I definitely think Sean would need to grow as far as his communication. Excuse me. But I could see him, excuse me.
Sorry, bless you.
I don't know what just happened. I can see him growing.
Right. Yeah, I could. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, the guy is not a lost cause altogether. I mean, he can right the ship. He can find someone. It's just that I just found him, like, it was some great women that were there with him that wanted some of the same things like Tasia. I still don't understand why he didn't make that work, especially if he said he was attracted to her. So if you were attracted to her, Sean, why didn't you step to Tasia and make that work? So that makes me feel like he's not really ready to love because he's not even like he wasn't contacting anybody on the show. He wasn't contacting anybody. So they were all like, you know, I don't ever hear from him. And he kind of admitted to it, like, you know, yeah, I'm kind of slow when it comes to that. Plus I came on the show late. So, you know, maybe this just wasn't the best way for me to date or whatever the case may be. But, you know.
Right.
But
I think he was that into Tasia, but I don't know. I don't know who he was really into. I think he liked Sabrina, but that wasn't gonna be a good fit.
Yeah. See what he wants is he wants an assertive woman, is what I think Sean wants. Tasia and Sabrina are those assertive women. And he wants an assertive woman because he's gonna play the background.
Fall back. Yeah.
And you know, I think he probably could have actually worked for him and Tasia, but he was just, there was something holding him back from it for some reason. And you know, if they could have made it work, I think Tasia would have fell in that leadership role and would have been comfortable in that leadership role.
Yeah.
You know, so so who else you got?
So next
Frank?
I'll go to Frank.
Okay.
And last week I didn't even really give him a number because there just wasn't much talk about Frank.
Right.
But I actually ranked Frank at an 8 this week. And purely because I think Frank does well answering the hard questions.
Okay.
And he's been very honest and upfront about who he likes and how many it is and how he's trying to, you know, figure things out.
Right.
And I think, although sometimes, you know, the truth of the matter may be hard to hear, people still need to hear it. It still needs to be said. And I think he does a good job at that. So he was actually invited to meet Sydney's sister, which she let Phil meet her parents, but
right. No bias.
Right. She invited Frank just to meet her sis.
Right.
And you know, the sis kind of got the friend vibe. And I will say, as I was watching them interact, I got a friend vibe between Frank and Sydney. It was just kind of like a hey, what you know, and that it's not like it's my man. It's just like, this my homeboy, what you doing? That type of thing.
Exactly.
But I did give Frank an 8, just for his honesty about where he is in the process and all of that. And then of course he went to meet Mo Ming's dad and sister and her uncle. And I really love the uncle. I love the whole family.
Yeah.
I did not know that they had that connection of having African roots.
Yeah, I did not know Frank was Ghanaian.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, he's American born, but he comes from Ghanaian parents. I didn't.
Yes, and still has very much that connection and his Ghanaian name and all of that. So I was like, oh, okay. Because I remember I was kind of counting them out when he was saying he wasn't really with the celibate thing. But I actually thought that they seemed more of a better match after kind of hearing him talk with her dad and and they both African. So that I mean that's just another element that draws them a little closer. Yes.
Because they're familiar with each other's cultures, you know, to a degree. Yeah.
And that's important.
In America, born in or African roots.
Right. And I think on any level, to any degree that you can have commonalities with someone that you're in a relationship with, just is going to help. When you have shared values, when you're to the degree that you're in alignment on things, that's going to help with your relationship growing and being strong.
Right.
So I gave Frank an 8 for his honesty and his consistency with being honest. And then Phil. So I was completely caught off guard with the incident that went down with him and Shiloh. So apparently after the when they were at the cabin, when she asked him the question about, you know, who's your top, or how are you feeling about me? And she felt he evaded the question. So then they go out, they're at a bar, they had been drinking, and she asked the question again. And I guess she didn't like his response. He said something to the effect of, you know, don't worry, I got you. What kind of response is that?
Right,
Do you like me? I got you, don't worry.
Well, she said she liked the response that she got at first, but upon further review.
Yes. And
she
we will
was like,
further review.
Yeah, she was like, he didn't really give me an answer. You know, he just
It's never a good thing when we further review something.
Facts.
It just isn't. I have like further reviewed things and just have made a mess of situations when it's like.
I love that honesty, because I see a lot of people who do that. And it's called overthinking sometimes.
It is definitely overthinking.
Yeah, you can overthink some things and really kind of mess a situation up.
And
so
blow it way
out of proportion. Exactly.
So
I think, is that what you're saying Shiloh did?
So I think, well, here's the deal. Phil did evade the question.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
But I think also to a certain degree as women, you know, if a man is evading the question, you know, evading a question and not answering a question is giving you an answer.
Right.
Because if his answer was, I want you, he would say that. So you have to look at what's not being said and don't press the issue, right? Like you were kind of sensing that he wasn't really feeling you at the same level. You're asking him questions, he's evading the questions, and then you going into your head and you want to pull him out and ask him again.
Right.
As soon at the cabin, when he evaded the question and you are, leave it alone. Leave it right there.
Yeah.
But
and she said something to the point of him not answering the question is actually answering the question.
Is answering the question. Yes. Absolutely it is. It absolutely is. So I think so this is where I was so they are out and apparently they get into it. And whatever is said, and you know, they said that they started getting loud with each other and things like that. And then when it got to the point where they said, you know, she was trying to walk off, and then Phil went up and physically grabbed her to kind of bring her back to the car or something like that. I was just like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting that. I thought maybe they just got into it at a bar and, you know, now they have to go to the principal's office and talk to Tommy about it. So yeah, when they were mentioning that, and I'll just look at it from as a woman and feel the way that he handled the situation. I feel like it's a very sensitive topic and subject when you talk about putting your hands on someone and your intention and how it went down, right? So number one, I definitely believe no one, men or women, should be putting their hands on another person without consent. However, in this situation, when I listened to Phil's perspective, and I'm going into a man's mind to the best of my ability, and he said, you know, it's like 4:00 in the morning. They're in an area that really isn't the best area in DC. And she's upset. She had been drinking and she's walking off towards an alley, he said, like a dark alley. And so in his mind, he goes into protection mode. And I do see that Phil is a guy who would want you to be safe and protect you no matter what. Because like I said from the beginning, I feel like Phil is a guy, if you're going to be with him or not, you still going to be good. Like y'all can still have a good kind of relationship. So I think he definitely went into protection mode and he felt like, I need to do something to make sure she's safe. She's walking off, leave me alone. And so he feels the best thing to do to make the situation safe for her is to physically grab her to bring her back.
Right.
Um,
And
do
a little
I
bit, Tommy kind of understood that too. He was like, I got to ask myself, are you safe? Are you good?
right?
So yeah.
And so I there's 1,000 ways that he could have handled it, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
when you're in the heat of the moment sometimes and you've been drinking, tempers are kind of flaring, and it's getting to that level. You're not going to be making the best decisions in that moment. You're just not. You're not even in a place to make the best decisions. So
exactly.
he made a decision.
Feel things, or just critically think things. The process better than what you would. You would probably take things out of context and everything if you are inebriated. So yeah.
Right. So it was set up to go bad. It was just set up to go bad.
It was.
And it did.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, right? And so when I think about his intentions and why he did that, I definitely think he was trying to legit protect her, and he thought that she was going to put herself in an unsafe situation. And as a man, he felt like, well, the only thing I can do in this moment. And so he did grab her to bring her back to the car. Like I said, it's 1,000 ways that he could have handled it. Was that the best way? Probably not. But I understand. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it was right, but I understand why he did what he did. But this is where I want to get on Phil and why I dropped his score down. I had Phil out of 6. Phil has been slowly, okay.
Wow.
I dropped Phil down to a 5, not because of the incident, because I understand the incident. I'm not saying it was right, but I understand his thinking. But I also understand Shiloh's as well. But I dropped him down to a 5 because, and this is the thing, when you speak in a way where you create these very ambiguous and confusing things in a woman's mind, just be clear. Like she's asking you a clear, direct question.
Right.
Just be clear and direct with your answer. All this, I got you, don't worry about, what does that even mean? Yeah. That's only going to create more kind of confusion in my mind. And I'm, so to alleviate that, so it don't have to get to this level 10, just tell me the truth. Just say, you know what? I really had a strong connection with you in the beginning, but now I'm kind of having a strong connection with another person too. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I might not want to hear that. I might, be like, you make me sick, but I now know the truth. And now I just have to go process the truth of the matter, Right. So for that reason, I think Phil needs to take some notes from Frank as far as just being honest about who you're feeling and where you are with the process and all of that. So for that reason, I did drop him down to a 5.
Wow. You were at a 9, close to a 10, Phil. You dropped all the way down to a 5.
He's at a 5.
However, I don't know about the whole Frank comparison because I'm finding Frank very confusing.
Okay.
Okay. He said, now he practically pled his love to Sydney when he met her people, right? Well, he said, okay, because her sister, was it? She asked him, is there somebody else? And then Frank said, yeah, there is, but Sydney, I want to be with you. I'm afraid of losing you. You remember him saying that? He said something similar to that. And then he do his little interview thing. And then he says, I don't know if Sydney is the homie or this, that, and that. So he confessing his love with practically his love with her and her sister. But then when he do his little self-interview, it's like, is she a homie? Is she this, that? Yeah. I was like, what's going on, Frank? That was confusing to me.
But you know what? I get it, because I think that can be true. I think you can really be liking someone and still trying to figure out what exactly, what is this vibe? Is it just a friendship? Is it a romantic? So I kind of get that.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't had that conversation with Sydney. If he's thinking that he's just as ambiguous. I mean, I would even probably call it more misleading than ambiguous, because he sat there and told Sydney, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you. This is, I can't see myself without you or whatever. And then he gets on the interview like, oh, is she a homie?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, he could have said that. And she's feeling the same way, because she said that in her interview too.
Yeah, she did. She did.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's going unsaid between the two of them and they're just saying it in the confessionals.
I have an idea what's going on, but yeah.
Okay.
Are you done, or you got somebody else?
No, that was it. That's all I mean. It's just,
okay.
Those four. Mm-hmm.
All righty. Let me get into the women. And let me start with Sabrina. Sabrina, she has a solid connection with, I haven't really changed anything about her ranking or anything. She has a solid connection with your boy, Walter. And, I do see her getting a little, kind of pressing him for some more assurance,
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I'm not mad at that. I mean, we are at the 11th hour. You gotta, it's time. Right. I mean, look, it ain't like he got no more connections really anyway.
Right. But you heard her even say that she feels like Walter picked her as the default.
Yes, he picked her as the default. And I'm not even sure if that's true though, because Walter been riding tight with Sabrina the whole time. I mean, he pretty much dismissed Momine for her. So I if I'm Walter, I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been rocking with you day one. I mean, since literally day one. When we walked in the house, we sat down, we got to know each other. You was my first pick day one. You could roll back the tape.
True. You my day one.
So what is this default stuff? That's I think
she's feeling some kind of way because, like she said, she hasn't really heard from him. Like,
yeah, she says she hasn't heard from him, but look, ladies, all the ladies watching, let me tell you something. Please. Men suck at communication.
Oh my God.
We suck at communication when it comes to phone calls and texts, especially, the older we get, the more we suck at it. I'm gonna just be honest. It's just, I would not necessarily that does not mean that Walter does not like her. It just means that he's probably a busy man. He probably got things he's doing, closing deals, getting contracts, taking that, whatever he's doing, you know what I mean? He got a busy schedule. So yeah, it would be nice to hear from him. And he do got to get better at that. Most men got to get better at that. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
I'm gonna include myself.
What about when people say, people make time for the things that they want to make time?
That is, I don't necessarily agree with that whole statement. People make time. That it does hold a little weight, but sometimes you just don't have time. And sometimes your mind it can only occupy so many thoughts at one time. Now, if you're meeting someone new and yes, you feeling them, you are going to text and you're going to call, but you still got other things you got to do and take care of.
Right.
I'll put it like this. That may be a key factor or a legitimate factor, but don't make that the end all be all to him not liking you.
Well, and I guess
when a mistake is made.
This, if a man is consistently busy, you don't have time to talk on the phone, you don't have time to go out, like, do you have time to
to be in a relationship? Yeah, and that's a legitimate concern.
And then secondly, like, I understand like things get busy, but if you consistently don't have time to connect with me, I can only draw one conclusion on that. Now it's different if you're busy, like you go all throughout the day, but every night at 10, you give me a call and we talk for 30 minutes or whatever. Every other Wednesday, something where you have a consistent pattern of reaching out to me, I can deal with that, even if it isn't as much as I would like to.
Right.
But just
when you have a time slot, when you do have some downtime.
Yeah, you're prioritizing making some time for me.
Yeah,
if it's,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And he will have to work on that, I just know men for the most part are pretty bad at that and notorious for that, not communicating as well as the women. And a lot of times I like with Sabrina, I would ask her, how much are you contacting him? I'm not saying it should all be one way, because it definitely shouldn't. But oftentimes, I don't like hypocrisy. I just don't. That's just one of my pet peeves. So it's like, okay, he's not contacting you, but how are you contacting him? And if you're not contacting him, then let's take that off the table as a complaint, because we both need to work on that. You know what I mean? If he's not contacting you and you're not contacting him, you can't complain about something you're not doing either.
I do see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
However,
I
do put more of that responsibility, and this can on the men initially. I do put more of that responsibility on him. Okay. And I see it as part of his way of pursuing and showing interest. And I like even what Sabrina said to Walter, and I've actually said this before too, is like, my energy is going to match your energy.
Right.
So if you're not calling me, my energy is going to match that. If you're calling me, my energy is going to match that.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand both points of views, honestly. But I'm a strong believer that you can't complain about something you're not doing. And if you say your energy is going to match his energy, yeah, I get that also. But a better way to handle that would be to just confront him about that and ask him, what do you have a time frame where we can regularly communicate? I understand you're busy, but and I have a time slot, open, or I'm not busy at this time. And if you're not either, let's talk. Let's find time for each other, and work on it together. I
definitely would be open to having the conversation. With him.
Yeah. Let's talk. Who was that? Somebody said something like communication is the blessing of a nation or something like that. But anyway, the communication is key, and
it's critical.
If you talk things out, you pretty much solve anything if you are
absolutely
sincere about what you want. So hopefully they'll work it out. I want Sabrina and Walter to work out.
So good together.
They do.
Oh my gosh.
They need to stop playing. And like he said, if his wife was alive, he'd be the same age as Sabrina.
Right.
I don't think he's tripping on older women, but I think for the most part their energies match up the best.
Absolutely.
So yeah, y'all
from
work
day
that.
One.
Y'all work that communication out. Walter, you get better at that, bro.
Yes.
All right. Next up, I'm gonna talk about Sydney. It was funny that her father said, "You got to kiss every guy in the
did
place."
You kiss all of them?
Right, and I'm like, for coming from a father, that's kind of.
What you know about your daughter that we don't know?
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. What do you know about your daughter? Like, is he used to seeing her kissing a whole bunch of guys?
Apparently.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Okay. It was just odd.
Yeah,
that
it was an odd comment.
First.
Almost like he was like, slow down or something. You
Yes,
know?
yes.
She was
That
like,
was
no,
funny.
I don't kiss all the guys. And he was like, oh, okay.
Well,
Now that's her stepfather, but still.
Yeah, still.
He must have seen a lot.
He done seen, clearly.
And Sydney is so much like her mother too. I mean, they practically like, younger sister, older sister,
Mm.
they kind of they kind of talk the same, and and her mother is kind of very outgoing also, which is pretty cool.
I thought it was odd that she asked the question about his savings. Do you have
Oh my goodness, what is it? I'm glad
Sydney,
Sydney,
mama.
yeah, Sydney corrected that. Kudos to you for that, Sydney. Like that's personal. You don't. I mean, this
like,
first
Mama,
time you meet this guy. Why?
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
These like intrusive questions is cool to ask. I don't get that.
Yeah, I liked how she handled that situation with her mom.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I do too. But I mean, her mother is, no disrespect, but she's old enough to know better than that.
Oh, she most definitely is. She most definitely. Who does that?
Yeah.
Who does?
Yeah, that's crazy.
No one.
But Sydney, she's a piece of work. Like I actually think here's what I think. I think that her and Phil are really just rocking with each other. They just haven't figured out a way to let the other two down. They just haven't figured out a way to let Shiloh and Frank down easy. But I think they're clearly rocking with each other. Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, I see a new side of Phil when he interacts with Sydney.
Yeah. Now he did a smooth move. He brought flowers for Sydney and her mother. Shout out to Phil for that. That was a smooth move because that won
and
the mother
for the
over
dad.
right away. Yeah. So he came, with the best, intentions and tried to make a good first impression, which he pretty much did. So good job to him on him. Like, okay, now here's the case where making an effort does matter. So the ladies are right. When you'll make time and you'll make the effort when you really want something.
You will.
And Phil, he made the effort to make a good impression on him. There's nothing ambiguous about his dealings when it comes to Sydney.
It is not at all.
And that's all he got for Shiloh these days. You know what I mean? So it's all that ambiguity and I got you. Don't worry. He's trying to figure out a way to let her down easy. That's what I'm thinking. And Shiloh is Sydney is gonna try to figure out a way to let Frank down easy. But I think them two, Sydney and Phil, are rocking together. They just haven't solidified it. Phil's talking about he wants to see the process through, and I don't disagree with him. I think he is doing that, but because when Sydney came in this place, she pretty much rocked his world, so to speak. So he's like, whoa, I don't want to make no decisions, because if I would have made a decision, I wouldn't see Shiloh see Sydney. So I'm gonna see this thing all the way to the end. And sometimes, ladies, and I'm gonna give you a hint, sometimes men will let you self-eliminate yourself. Just give you time, see who will rock with you. Say a man is dating more than one woman. It happens. Don't ask me how I know. But anyway, sometimes he will see just which one energy fits best with him and who's going to really self-eliminate themselves, because that stuff can happen. It's bound to happen one way or another. And I don't really think neither one of these women really eliminate themselves, except for this last episode. I think Shiloh took some shots at Phil.
You did.
And let me say this. So that was Sydney. And Sydney is cool. I didn't really change
Sydney
her rating. Yeah, but what's that?
No, I was just saying I loved how she handled herself with Shiloh in the women's lounge.
Yeah. I mean,
Loved it.
yeah.
Classy. Very good.
She could be classy. She can, she corrected her mother when she asked her, that question. And, I see Sydney as a good woman. Now, Shiloh, and I have a follow-up question for you. So I need your help on this. First of all, Shiloh is getting frustrated with Phil. That's obvious, right? But I'm seeing a trend here, and I need your help on this.
Okay.
My question is, do the women shame men when they feel rejected? Because we had Zadia, and she tried to pretty much point her finger and shame your boy, what's his name? Dante. You got Mo Ming, who really tried to throw Walter under the bus when he didn't really pick her, and she practically wanted him to go home because she put a vote in for Walter to go home. And then you see Shiloh, who's, listen, this is just my opinion. I wasn't there, but I don't see Phil as physically trying to hurt Shiloh.
Yeah.
Okay. I do genuinely feel like he was trying to protect her in the best way we can. We kind of seen a sign of that when he seen the girls fighting at the table. He pulled Aisha to the side. He's a protector guy, and if you're drunk, inebriated at 2-3 in the morning in a dark alley, you would accuse me of the same thing, because I would have did the same thing.
Right.
I mean, you could be mad at me later, but my protecting you is going to come first.
Right.
It just is what it is.
Right.
But and she said, oh no, I didn't feel safe. He not meeting my parents, so he never got to meat her parents.
Right, and he didn't need to. Yeah.
He didn't need to, because they wasn't go. He didn't need to, because they wasn't gonna work out. And like I said, they pretty much already made their choice. Both Sydney and Phil, they rocking with each other. They just got to get better at letting everybody know. And maybe it's still so fresh and new that they hasn't come to that. They kind of want to try to make it to the end or whatever. Yeah. But they rocking with each other. But I just like she tried to make it seem like Phil was dangerous, or like I don't trust him around my parents and all this, that, and Tommy kind of tried to like, you're not saying that he's dangerous or nothing, right?
Right, like he tried to physically hurt you. You felt unsafe.
But even though she admitted that she didn't feel threatened, she still tried to give him that persona almost. Like, I didn't feel safe. And that's why I asked the question. When women get rejected, do they start to shame? Like, why is this so bitter? This is why men are not as honest as women want them to be, because every time we are honest, we get these Zadia and Shiloh responses.
I will say this is the season of women scorned and not knowing how to handle rejection. It's almost as if they have never had a guy tell them, I don't really like you, I like someone else. Like, we've all been in that situation from elementary, middle school, high school. It's happened. So to see their responses, I'm like, is it just that they lack a low emotional IQ? Like they don't know how to,
right. Even in the beginning with Tasia, when she was on the bottom,
I was gonna bring her up too. Like she was like, me at the bottom. I'm just like, it happens. Like, there will be times where someone doesn't want to be your friend. And at this age and stage where you say you've been through life experiences, I'm sure rejection was one of those life experiences. How is it that this is how you're handling it? Like, they're handling it like I don't even want to say high school. I teach middle school children. They're handling it like a middle school would. A temper tantrum, you mad, you want to be getting physical, you trying to, make accusations about his character and things like that. And it's just like, all he did was say he didn't pick you. Like, that's all that happened. Right. So yeah, I think there's something to be said with just how people in general, and in this case, we're seeing a lot of Black women not handling rejection well. And my thing is like, it's one thing like when you take Shiloh and Phil in the heat of the moment, whatever happened, and I'm sure she was mad and get your hands off me, and I'm sure it went there. Right. But like, you've had days to kind of process it and hear him out, and you're still like, when she had the meeting where it was just her and Phil, where she put her hair up, and I ain't even gonna lie, when she put her hair up like that, I was like, is she trying to look like Sydney, like wearing her hair? But anyway.
She actually looked good. That was the best Shiloh ever looked right there. She looked good when she did that.
And then she had a little halter top. I was like, is she?
Yeah, she did give off a little Sydney look.
She gave off a little Sydney.
But that was her best look, though. Not for nothing.
But I was just like, when she said to him, after you've had all this time to kind of decompress and look at what you did to contribute to it and what he did. And like I said, both people did things wrong to contribute to this wrong outcome. I can't see why she still got up in his face and said, well, yes, I did think you were trying to hurt me emotionally.
I just, you're right. And I just think that it really just stemmed from her emotional response. She could have taken it like, oh, she actually could have been grateful. Thank you for protecting me at this time. And then we wouldn't even have this problem. It wouldn't be no cloud over Phil's head about
I'm
him.
Sorry it got to this point with us.
It all stemmed from how she emotionally responded from it. Now, I think the reason she emotionally responded from it is because she did have some, bitter feelings towards him, because I think she was sensing that he was not going to pick her.
Right.
I mean, she had that woman intuition that he's not rocking with her. He's being a little too ambiguous, and he's not solely invested. He don't have both feet in. So
and here's the deal. It don't take him saying I like somebody else. Sometimes it don't take that.
Right.
You don't, like, your actions can show me, and I'm sure with both men and women, like, if you're pursuing a woman and she really ain't giving you no play, she not returning your calls, she don't really want to, like, does she have to literally say, listen, I really don't want to spend time with you? No, your actions are telling me you really don't want to spend time with me.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm not into forcing someone to say something that they don't have the courage or the apt to say to me. Okay, it's hard for you to say, but you could just show me with your action. Okay, I'm good.
Right. Yeah, so, that being said, I would have to knock, a point off of Shiloh.
Yeah.
Maybe even two, just by how she responded with that situation. It's just, because I didn't think that she would go to that level of how she responded. And, because she's been real too cool for school for the whole, season for the most part, up until this last episode where she started to let her emotions and insecurity get the better of her. I'm not saying it's not justified. I mean, the guy is kind of curving you, and we all see that. But at the same time, I would expected her to handle it with more class. Like I would even say that maybe Sabrina got rejected or felt some insecurities before in the show, but she never let none of the other ladies see her sweat. She never let any other, like, she was so confident with her situation and her position with Walter that she didn't respond the way the other women did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sabrina is like, listen, if Walter don't choose me, I know my DMs are gonna be full. So I ain't worried about none of y'all.
Right. And
I'm gonna be okay.
Right. And she's gonna be, and she was right. But she never got to the point where she was shitting on Walter at any point.
For what?
Right. Even
It's
even if she didn't
unnecessary.
feel secure about the situation, it's like okay, yeah, he not contacting her enough and this, that, and the third, but she's not gonna
And she
throw
called
him
him
under
out
the
on it.
bus. Yeah.
Right.
And that was part of the reason why Walter chose her, because she didn't respond in that moaning way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Walking away from him and things like that. So that's why I
Yeah.
had to ask you that question, because I was seeing that pattern that
Right.
if you once you reject most of these women, not all, like I was pointing out Sabrina, but most of them, you're gonna catch some smoke, and they're
Right.
gonna
And I'm
try
like,
and throw you under the bus once you reject them, and that's just whack to me.
it is.
They're all in their late 30s, 40s. Come on now,
I'm like, is it hitting
before.
y'all in the pocketbook? Like, do they deduct 10,000 when you don't
You
get
know what
paid?
I
Like,
mean?
y'all taking this a little too
Yeah,
serious
yeah,
on me being
exactly.
known for 90 days. I mean, come on now.
And at the end, Shiloh did end up self-eliminating herself.
Yeah, this is the season of self-eliminations. But
Yes, I mean this counts as what, number 5 or something like that, because we had both Camille
Camille
and your boy
self-eliminated, Shiloh self-eliminated, and then
Shiloh,
Naeem self-eliminated.
Naeem, yeah, and Shiloh. Yeah, so that's 4. That's 4. I don't know why I was counting Corn, but no, he got eliminated. But
Yeah.
that was the ripple effect of
So
all of that.
3, 2,
Yeah,
2 girls and 1 guy.
2 girls and 1 guy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Shiloh.
But this is what I want to say.
Go ahead.
This is what I have noticed as
Go
far
ahead.
as a trend with this season, and I think pretty much all the seasons, where what I'm seeing is the women usually know who their guy is. Like, the women usually come to that conclusion, with the exception of Kyra, much faster than the men. The majority of the women will already be like, it's him. And so usually it's the men that are kind of like, well, I'm still kind of, I don't know, and let me see. And so you usually end up with this triangle where it's the guy and he's trying to figure out which 2 women, which was kind of happening with Frank, with Phil, and it kind of was with Dante too. But then in each of these situations,
Zadia well, I wouldn't say
somebody acted a
self-eliminated,
fool.
but yeah. She kind of eliminated herself. Like I said, men will sometimes wait for you to eliminate yourself, not just on the show, but just period.
So I guess my question is it okay? So you have all these beautiful women there, right? How is it that most often the women are able to come to that conclusion on which guy they want sooner than the guys are? What's taking y'all so long to know that I am the one for you?
Well, because men mainly do the choosing when it comes to it, and they're looking at a number of different factors. Women may know who they're attracted to for whatever reason. They like his personality, they like his looks, whatever the case may be. But men normally do the main choosing when it comes to a relationship. Well, I mean, I'm not saying the women don't have say. They obviously they have some say.
So what takes them so long in reaching their conclusions? Because I feel like women, we have a number.
Because men, okay, I'm gonna get in trouble. You done put me in the corner.
We can handle the truth.
Okay, there you go. I like that. A lot of times women, and this is just my opinion, a lot of times women know why they like a guy for surface reasons. And a man needs more time to find out not just physical reasons, but other reasons why he would want to be with a woman. It's not just not just surface. Like we all expected Dante to go after Sydney, right? When they was in the pool, but he wasn't rocking with Sydney, and he's with Aisha, who some say is not an attractive woman. You see what I'm saying? So men look for things not just for physical, like women think we do. We looking for things. We looking for cooperation. Who can our energy match with, and who can we, who has the most cooperation? And once Dante seen that Zadia was all about all that other stuff, he was turned off by her.
Right.
That's why he was holding out his opinion about her. Now, he didn't get none of that from Aisha. So he was like, okay, this is obviously the way to go. And, Sabrina didn't really give Walter as much smoke as Mo-Ming. So he was like, okay, this is the way to go. So men are not just looking at surface things. We're looking at how can she fit in my world, and what is her cooperation level. And that takes time, because it's going to come out. It came out when they went to that house and at that dinner table, and those guys was like, okay, now it's coming all out. Now it's coming all out. A lot of ladies gonna start eliminating themselves right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why it takes men a little longer. I'm not saying that women don't do that. I'm not saying women don't do that and have their things that they're looking at. But for men, it's calculus.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So I think we probably go through the same process, but we process through it a little faster. Because I think we're looking for that cooperation and him fitting into my life and how he's going to treat me and what will this and what will that. But I think our evaluation process is probably a little faster. And that's why we were like, no, yeah.
Yeah, y'all evaluation is a little faster.
It's a little fast. So y'all are evaluating just like we are. But
here's the thing though. Men are pretty easy to figure out. Women are complex.
That's it. That is what it is. Y'all are very simple creatures. Yes.
Yeah, we're very simple. You see a brother with broad shoulders, masculine and good looking, and you be like, okay, that's the dude for me. And it's and for the most part, he's not. He doesn't change very much. But with women, like Zadia, right? Everybody thought Zadia was cool in the beginning, but she turned out to be something totally different.
Yeah,
I mean, I seen it because I got the experience. But
I've seen her mean girl in this too. But
but at the same time, it's women are just more complicated and they're more.
That's what it is.
So it takes men a little bit more time to sort things out,
to figure us out. I get that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Who do I got left? Mo-Ming. Mo-Ming. I still don't like the way she just threw Walt under the bus, but I'm gonna get out. She's living her life. She's doing her thing. She picked Frank. I think she picked Frank by default, by the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a Dante moves pretty much, so I did not know she was African until now. So that was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah. I can tell from her look at her name.
Yeah. Now I used to date an African woman. Okay. And they fathers do not play.
Okay.
So I know what Frank is going through. African fathers are like, if you meet me, you getting married.
Period.
Otherwise, why are you meeting me?
Right.
I mean, I went to Africa and I met her father and he was like, when is the day?
Okay.
And I'm like, did you tell him I was here to sightsee? You know what I mean? And Mo-Ming father was like, what are your intentions with my, with my daughter? And that's pretty much what was said to me. Sometimes they don't get it's a process, it's a new day, it's a process, things that and the
Yeah.
third. The uncle
Ain't
was
no
like,
process with
it's
my
a
daughter.
it's a show, it's a competition, you have to,
The
so the
uncle
uncle
got it.
really kind of, the uncle kind of corrected
I like
Pops.
the uncle.
But the fathers, they like, okay, you
Yeah.
meeting me, that will be 10 goats,
Okay.
5 cows.
3 cows.
You know?
Okay.
You
Where's
know
my
what I mean?
dowry?
Or
Yeah.
$10,000. What
Okay.
you can give me the animals or the money? Which one is it going to be? Because here's the thing: they're used to the negotiations. If you meeting the father, they're thinking, okay, you want to marry
to
my daughter.
Yes.
They're not interested in the dating thing. They don't get the dating thing. They don't. No, it ain't no dating. Okay, that's why Moming is celibate, because she's saving it for her husband, and because in African culture that holds value. I'm not saying she's a virgin or nothing, but I'm saying that holds value in African culture.
Yeah, she said she's not a virgin.
Yeah. So and when they get to her age, I mean, so fathers are used to the negotiations. Okay, I was kind of drawn into that. I was like, she gotta explain what's really going on here. But I thought that was cool that they were both African. I think Moming is I don't really know how to feel about Moming, because I still don't like how she did Walter, and she
You ain't gonna let her live that down.
She just doesn't. No, okay, let me say this: if she is a wife, I don't think that she would walk away, because right now she's the walk away queen. Okay, because here's the thing: another thing about African families, and I'm talking to the guys now, if your wife don't act like a good wife, you can go tell her parents. Okay, they have a community that you can confide in, that gets involved, because you paid it, especially if you paid a dowry.
Yeah,
you can say, listen, I paid y'all this money, I expected a certain
up.
Yeah, and she's acting up. Because not for nothing, I mean, this is not something I made up, but it's more of a transaction over in Africa. Okay, it's almost considered like buying property. Okay,
it most definitely
is.
Like
a car. Like, look, I paid you $10,000. You gave me a lemon. You know what I mean? And that's how African men look at it. Like, so you got to correct her. So they will correct their daughter. They will shame her or tell her what the deal is. They teach their women how to be wives. They teach their daughters and stuff how to be homemakers and how to be good wives to their husbands.
Right.
And this is the promise that you're getting when you're asking for a dowry, because they're saying we did the work to groom her to be a good wife. So she is worth this money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And does it work that way for the husbands as well? If the husband if the wife is complete.
No, the husband their job is to get money. Okay. Their job is they're not necessarily taught how to be husbands. They're taught to be protectors and providers. That's what they do with the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the women their women are raised up because they look at their girls as currency, so to speak. Now, if somebody African in the comments, you can correct me. I ain't claiming to be an expert on this. I don't live in Africa, but I had a touch of that experience, and from what I seen, that's how it goes. It's more of property. I'm giving you this money for this property. So because the men have to pay for the dowry, and they have to I think the daughter's parents pay for the wedding. They have like 2 or 3 different weddings. Okay, and there's a dowry, so there's a lot of money being exchanged.
Yeah,
but with that, the guys want value for what they're paying for. Okay, if I'm going to marry your daughter and I'm gonna give you all this money, you got to give me a wife. You can't give me someone who's going to take and run, and not going to be my wife, and then I'm not going to be happy. You know what I mean?
And I think I haven't had any direct experience with dating someone from another culture or race or anything like that. But from what I've heard about it, what you're saying is all very true. And there's some parts of it that I really think is helpful for a marriage, like for you to have a community of people to kind of help guide you through the process. And when you have disagreements and misunderstandings, to kind of, from what I would see, they would have a group of the ladies talk to the wife and a group of men talk to the husband, and you know, and then kind of come together with some elders who could give them that leadership and wisdom. That part I think is excellent, and I think that needs to be still going on in just all marriages.
Yeah, when you marry African, you don't marry just the woman. You marry the whole, not just the family, the whole tribe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because it's a community thing. They don't just have immediate, they don't have just immediate family. They have the whole tribe. Okay. Yeah. Everybody with because that whole tribe pretty much has the same last name, and that extends for a lot of people. I'll just put it that way. Right. So you really want to, you know, you can always talk to them, and they will kind of get the women. It don't always work. I ain't go front. Right. Some women are they you know, they don't, you know, I remember one guy, and this one guy, he said, this woman is not a virgin. He took her back to her family.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I want my money back. She is not a virgin. And she was crying. I mean, I seen the video and everything.
So disgraceful.
She was so disgraced. She was crying. Her sister, her mother was crying. Everybody was crying. And this guy said, you sold me, you lied to me. Okay. So he went back to the whole tribe and said, I want my money back. And you know, that happens in Africa, because you know, they take their marriage and everything serious. Like, you know, now there's a lot
of things they do that should not, like, it's really not.
Look, like some people look at it as being, you know, a little old fashioned or whatever the case may be. But I really like the fact that the families are involved, because
I do like that part.
It does have some accountability. A lot of times, you know, if you ain't got no family to back you, or you ain't got no family to teach you or anything like that, I mean, you could just go wild. Yeah, you could lose folk. I mean, it's just so much. But that being said, Moming, I think she's okay. She's cool. Coming from an African family, I would say that she would not run away if she got married to her husband. I think she would make a great wife. You know, I can't necessarily say I'm confident that she would never run, but because she has that locked into her personality, I think what she would do is she would run back to her family, and she would run back to her family, and she would you know just do stuff like that. So well, is there anybody else I'm missing?
No, I think you got them all. Sabrina, Aisha, Moming, Sydney. Oh wait, what did you do, Aisha?
Oh no, Aisha. Let me do that one real quick. Okay. Aisha, yeah, Dante met her family. They all have that face, you know, and nothing wrong with that. But Aisha is a cool chick. I didn't really do anything with her, you know, rating or anything. I like, here's who I like. I like Aisha and Dante. I like Walter and Sabrina. And, you know, you might as well just go ahead with Phil and Sydney, and then just get rid of everybody else. I mean,
and then Frank and Moming, no?
Frank and Moming, I would say, well, yeah, I do like them together too, but I think that Frank is too infatuated with Sydney. I don't know if he's going to really.
Is.
I think Momin will be a second choice for him, and you know, the celibacy thing. I don't know how Frank. I think he's too Americanized, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that being said, I don't know if that will last, but I could see them together. I just don't know if they're going to maneuver it and make it work. But we'll see.
We shall see.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But, have any last words? You want to drop your website again real quick, or?
Yes. So please support the book, Uncovering Your Truth. The website is the title of the book, uncoveringyourtruth.com, and you can also find it on Amazon.
All righty. Well, thank you again, Rochelle. And
Thank you.
Yes. And thanks for joining us. Yes. And since the BMR covered it, now it's official. Go to the website. Also go to blackmanrankings.com, pick up a t-shirt. We would appreciate that. And we will see y'all in the next one. And we hear that RTL Miami is coming up, and that
Miami.
Yeah, I know Miami is wild, so I know that's gonna be a hot episode. That's gonna be a hot season right there.
Yes, it is.
So, all right, y'all. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Bye.